podcast where we chat about all things Christian fiction. I'm your host, author, and insatiable reader, Shatona Havoc, and I am excited. I've been waiting for this day for quite a while now to have Lisa Phillips back. She is here to tell us, guys, Brand of Justice is complete. Or is it? I don't know. We shall see. But anyway, welcome back, Lisa. This is always fun to talk to you. And of course, about this series, because this is a favorite series of mine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this is great. This is great. So, Brand of Justice, 16 books. Did you know there were going to be 16 when you started?
I thought there were going to be 20. But you know when there's a long series and, you really want to tell the author, this is done now? And so I tried to do that to myself. And the story really very naturally concluded actually at 15. And then, which is part of the story of what 16 is. And so, so I always knew it was going to be a long series, but it didn't turn out anything like I thought it would. I think that's always true.
Right. Books have a mind of their own. Characters have minds of their own. And, things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But you do tend to have longer series. I mean, I know there's at least 9 in the expireds.
Yes, there's 10 in those. I think that's the longest other series I've done, and then and then Benson First Responders is 9, and then the others have been more like 4 or 5, and the next series I do is going to be 5. And so I do like me a long series, yes.
Yeah, me too. I get really frustrated when I'm enjoying a long series, and then I all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, there's no more. What? No, you can't stop. You can't do this.
Yes.
No. And I've been doing that with this one I've been listening to for quite a while now, and every time it's like, it's 7 of 8. I'm like, no, and then I go in to get 8, and it's like 8 of 10. I'm like, score, and then I go
nice.
in. I was like, yes, keep it going. Makes me so very happy.
Yes.
But when you enjoy characters and you enjoy the stories, you really want more. I mean,
and that's what surprised. Yeah, that's what surprised me with this, because the cast of characters kind of expanded, and they all seem to be, strong characters. And we really kind of need some spin-off things. And so I did a little novella that was one guy, Ramon, and a little bit of his story. And then there are several characters that I wouldn't mind doing maybe like little trilogy thrillers in the future, just to kind of catch up on their story and give them a little bit of like, they get to be the star for a little while. And so I think it Brand of Justice as it is now, the 16 books, is very much like the original series that could then spin off, other branches in the same story world. So I think definitely there's some stuff coming down the pipeline in the future after I do a different series first.
Oh, I like that. Well, and that's also good, having that other series for someone who, for whatever reason, I can't comprehend this, but we're all different. For whatever reason, Brand of Justice wasn't for them, then they get something from Lisa,
Yes.
And so that's good. But for those of us that Brand of Justice is totally for us, then we can go, okay, well, we'll catch up on the things that we've been missing out on, and then we'll be ready for this next series for the spinoffs. I mean, it's going to be great.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so for those who don't know Brand of Justice, what is this series? I mean, in general, what is the series? So that, I mean, if I try to explain it, it's not going to be nearly as good as if you do. So, have at it.
Well, I'll try. Okay, so the series centers around Kenna Banbury, who is a private investigator. She was raised by a guy who was her dad. She was raised by her father, and he was an FBI agent at one point, and then became a private investigator on his own. And she was raised, on the road, surrounded by murder files, kind of really almost raising herself while he solved crimes and grew up to follow his footsteps. She went into the FBI, but she and her partner was her fiance. And the two of them were captured by a serial killer, and her fiance did not survive, but she did. And so it really starts with that's kind of all the backstory, but there's some flashbacks in the first book. And so it really follows her journey of healing from the past, getting dragged back into investigations with the FBI. And then from there, that's Cold Dead Night. And then from there, she really kind of reconnects with the world, ends up with this chosen family through the series. She gets married, and then the end of 15 is the birth of their first baby, which lent itself to 16 being 25 years in the future, and it's their kid all grown up, and she's the main character. So yeah, that was a very long rambly explanation of what the series is.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so Brand of Justice, book 16 is actually 25 years in the future?
Yes, it is. Because I ended 15 with the birth of their baby, and there's a moment in that book where she's talking to her friend, and her friend just had a son. And so they're having this conversation, and it's like, ha ha ha, wouldn't it be funny if, in 25 years that, we're like navigating the two of them together. So they both have kids. And then that kind of spawned the idea of doing a story that is, Eliana is Kenna and Jax's baby, and then her best friend Javier Ryson, who's a police officer in Salt Lake City, it's his son. And then so they had a baby also. So Carlos has an older sister, Luci, who was in Cold Dead Night as a little toddler.
Yeah.
And so she's all grown up and she's missing. And so he goes to Chicago to try and find her. And Eliana is in Chicago working at a museum that is all about basically a secret society that Kenna and Jax battled with and worked to take down. And it's effectively a museum. And so she's going there to, learn about her history. And it's somebody in their mid-20s, but it's really almost like a coming of age type of thing, because she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, and she's trying to figure it out, which is, I think, true of a lot of people in their mid-20s, where he's this legacy police officer, and he is following in his father's footsteps and always knew that was what he was supposed to do. And so it's those two opposite stances where she doesn't know and he's super certain. And then they have some history from, she effectively declared her love to him in high school, and he did not respond very well to it. And so he kind of has to apologize to her, and they have to figure that out. But it very much is like a destined to be together, but there was a lot of stuff to figure out in the process. And because it's a Brand of Justice novel, there, of course, is a crazy cult and somebody who might be a threat, but we don't know who she is, and the whole secret society, and are they still active or what's going on. And yes, 25 years in the future, but I didn't really want to do like crazy technology, because I mean, you could go kind of crazy with like futuristic style technology. I almost reverted it back 20 or 30 years to where she has a flip phone and he does
that,
and she doesn't really use the internet. Like, it's a thing and you have to pay for it. And so I just kind of played with a little bit of an idea of like a kind of AI sort of Cold War almost, where it kind of shunted everybody back because it was like AI got too big for its britches, and then you kind of have to like shutter it back down and put some boundaries on what it can do and what it has access to. And so it was like the world after we realized we have too much technology, and it's actually going to become a problem. And so it was almost like the future I would rather have, because it's like way less technology. So
well, what I like about it is how many people do you see on the socials who are like, yeah, I'm sorry guys, it's been fun, but I'm getting rid of my smartphone. I'm going back to a flip phone, or you know what? I'm deleting all the apps. I'm just saving my phone for, I don't know, just actually calling people when I have to call for help. And
Hmm.
that's pretty much is it. So hasta la vista, and they're gone. I mean, it's happening left and right. There are entire YouTube channels, which I find really kind of amusing. There are entire
Uh-huh.
YouTube channels dedicated to not being on technology.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's a
And
little
actually,
bit of an oxymoron, but
yeah, yeah. And even for myself, like I deleted Facebook and Instagram off of my phone earlier in the year, actually before I started writing this. And so now I only use them on my laptop, and it's been so nice to just live in a world that's quiet. And
yes.
a lot of stuff has happened in our family this spring, and there's been a couple of major changes, and I honestly have been able to be present for those things, and I'm leaning on the Lord more, and just having peace in that quiet where I'm not on my phone trying to, disassociate effectively. So I no, I don't have a problem with anybody. My kids are still on socials. I'm still on socials for, author stuff and to connect with people. And so it has its place, but I've effectively, shuttered it down to how much I want to interact with it. And so it was nice to kind of explore some of those things and different people's viewpoints. Like Carlos, even in between the two main characters, he's using remote start on his car. He's got everything's connected. He's, all in with technology. And she's a little bit more like homeschooled in a cabin in the woods
Yeah.
because we know how scary the world can be. And so she has a little bit more of that like opposite, like, they track that, right? And so she still uses technology, in the ways that she needs to use it, but it's very much like living life in real life and not
Yeah.
less, more than online. So yeah, it was interesting to kind of explore those things.
Oh man. Well, it's kind of neat to have a character who's a lot more like me, because yeah, I don't use my phone. It's a camera and an
Mm.
emergency calling device, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be an emergency if I'm going to call anyone, because I don't do phones. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm on permanent do not disturb.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and people think I'm crazy, but you know what? The doom scrolling doesn't
Mm.
happen,
Yeah.
because I mean, don't get me wrong, I have Instagram on my phone, but I hate the phone, so I'm not going to touch it, right? So if I have to upload something in real time, I do, and then I'm done, because no,
Mm. Yeah.
if I really want to look at something, for one thing, I get a better picture on a laptop. I'm just saying, guys. But I mean,
Mhm.
those phones, I have a pretty big screen, but they're still way smaller than my laptop. It's just a thing. It's just a thing.
Mhm.
So people want to know, and they ask me all the time, so I'm sure they've got to want to know from you. So when you're coming up with, okay, I need to have this crime, something's got to happen, when do you know what you know? You know what I mean? Because I mean, like, that, and that's the actual question I've had people ask. When do you know? And basically, I figured out what they want to know is, how do you know what you're going to put them through,
Mm.
and how do you choose between the terrible things that can happen, and you have to make terrible things happen?
Yeah.
When do you know that this is the right terrible thing for this story?
Yes. And sometimes it's just a case of doing something I haven't done before, because I have written a lot of books. I will freely admit I have published a lot of novels. And sometimes I'm like, oh, this seems familiar. I've done it before. And so just brainstorming new ways to terrify them was a lot of fun. And in the future, and there's a crazy cult, and Eliana's remembering something scary from a dream. It actually happened in real life, but she blocked the memory, and so it's kind of like new nightmares every day. So that's fun. I don't know. Maybe I just enjoy torturing them, but you it was very much like, and even one of the characters says this in the middle of the book. The character's like, we're gonna see what you're made of. And
Yeah.
that's exactly how I feel about that character. Like a strong character that can rise to the occasion, then that this fright is worthy of them learning how to have the strength to deal with it. So hopefully that was a good
Yeah.
answer to the question.
Well, it answers the question because I mean, like I have the same problem. And it's not just with, how am I going to terrify somebody, but it's also like, okay, I can't use that name. That name's been done. I can't use
Mm,
that name. That name's been done. I can't use that name. That name's been. And then once I finally settle on a name that hasn't been done, and I go to the next name, of course, it's got the same letter. So it's like, nope,
mm,
can't do that. And everyone
mm-hmm,
I come up with that works great for that person. Nope, nope, nope. It's got the same. And you really can't do that you can do it now and then, but you can't do it too much. It's
mm,
confusing. And
yeah.
I'll write a line and I'm like, I'm sure I've written that exact line.
Mm-hmm,
And so I'll try to figure out where did I write that line? And I'll go looking for it. And often I can find it. But then when I can't find it, I'm not going through 135 or whatever it is books that I've
mm-hmm.
got to try to
Yep.
find that line. I've gone through 14 now of the ones that it seems like it would make sense in. Do I risk it and use it? And it's just familiar because it's how I think? Or is it familiar because
Mm,
I've written it? And sure as shooting, if I
mm-hmm,
use it, someone's going to go, gosh, that's familiar. I can't
mm-hmm.
win. So I'm like, but it's a good line. I don't want to lose the line. Oh,
Right. It's like,
do you ever do that?
yeah, well, it's like trying to find fresh ways to come up with a crime, because there's only so many crimes in the world. And
Right?
so it's like, I don't want somebody to look at the back of a book and be like, oh, another cartel story, like snooze. I've read 27 cartel stories from you, or,
Right.
another firefighter book. And so this series just really lent itself to having fresh things and new things and, going to the future, and it just puts a different spin on it. It's, to where probably the setting was, more alive almost than any setting I've done before, because it had its own personality. And it was almost like when you write a fantasy or a sci-fi and you have to world build
Yeah.
before, you have to come up with religion, and for fantasy you have to come up with a magic system, and it was like I had to come up with a political climate, a global climate, just like what's society doing now, in a way that the bottom line is, Carlos's sister is missing. He wants Eliana to help him try to find her, and they realize she is part of a cult. They don't know if she's there by choice or not, and so in trying to get her back, all these other things happen. And it's a Brand of Justice book, so there's like three plots and five bad guys
Right.
and six things happening at once.
Yep.
And so just that's the part that should feel familiar. And then the rest of it should hopefully be, just a fun note to the end of the series that really wraps up their arc, where you get to see, the legacy they left to the next generation. And, in a way that hopefully is satisfying to somebody who's just enjoyed the heck out of all these books so far. So,
Well, and it says on Amazon that this is a standalone. If you haven't read the entire
mm-hmm.
series, you can start
Mm-hmm.
here and just read this one.
Yeah, you could really, yes, because it's so firmly in Eliana and Carlos's points of view, because the world is the way that it is, then, 25 years later. And there's a lot, there's references to people. If you've read all the books so far, you'll understand the references to different people, or you might notice things that somebody who hasn't read the books wouldn't notice, but you don't, it may just add to the story. I would almost, read 16 and then go back and read all the others and then read 16 again. And then it's like, oh, now you have a little bit of context. But yeah, it could be a place somebody could start with 16. And, if you like the style, then it's worth, binging a series. And Kindle
Yeah.
Unlimited, that's like my favorite thing.
Oh, I love it. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. So now, faith wise, How, what are we going to see faith-wise? Because here we've got this 25 years in the future, we've got, people have been battling with technology, and some are like, mm-mm. But then we're dealing with a cult, so clearly we still got cults. What
Mm.
about Eliana and Carlos? I mean, what are we going to see with them?
And actually, it was interesting too because the first 15 books, the faith thread is a lot lighter. And Kenna goes through this journey. I think she gets saved in book 6. And then I think it's 14, 13 or 14 after she, there's a cover with him with Jax on it. And so after that, when she gets rescued, because he's trying to find her in that book, when she gets rescued, she has a big like crisis of faith, and kind of, there's a whole faith journey in the 15 books. But for this one, I really wanted, a standalone faith arc. And so Eliana is a strong believer, knows what she believes and is secure in it. And Carlos is a little more shaky, but kind of comes to a more definite realization of needing God in his life. But because they had that foundation, it allowed me to have, crazy cult, almost like Book of Revelation style things happening on the outside, to where you're like, wait, what? And so it's like when you can have things come at you, and if you're secure in your faith, you're like, oh no, that's not correct, or you're spinning this to tell your own story to reinforce what you want to believe, but this is what's true. And so it allowed me to tell that story of her, wanting to, everything. She's at one point, she's like, everything I hear is like, oh, you got to do amazing things for God, you got to, be this, have this great testimony. And she's like, I'm just me, and can I just live a quiet life and honor God in what I do? And that
Which is
was part of
biblical.
it.
It
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
have a quiet life, mind your own business. I mean,
Yes.
that's biblical.
Yes. I love my mind your own business verse.
I know, that's like my
Right.
favorite.
It's on my wall in my office, actually. Tend to your own business. Yeah, work with your hands
Yep.
and tend to your own business. And
I just
so, yeah, it was just a little bit of that, because I think too that's a struggle if you're in your mid 20s. You want to know, should I be trying to be, Charlie Kirk kind of level
right.
ministry, or is it okay for me to just live a quiet life? And I think technology plays into that, because we're, it's like everybody's trying to be famous, and it's like you're not good enough, and so you're not big enough, or you should want to be a superstar. But it's like actually living a humble life and being yielded to the Lord and following his leading is far more powerful testimony than just
Yep.
trying to have a platform, or use a megaphone. So
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, so book 16, when did this come out? I didn't look. I
it
was not
actually
paying.
came out today
Oh,
as we are
wow. Okay,
recording
guys,
this.
this is
it
May
is
6th.
it is release day.
Oh, well, hey, happy book birthday. It's
Thank
late for
you.
listeners, but hey, that's cool. Okay, so this just came out, and you've got I think you said a 5-book series that you're going to go to next.
Yes.
When do people start seeing those?
So the first 3 are already up for pre-order on Amazon, and so it is called Division Zero, and the first one is called the Lazarus Protocol, which everybody can probably guess what that means. And so the first one releases mid-August, and they are going to be more romantic suspense, but kind of wrapped in a spy thriller.
Ooh.
And right now, I'm trying to be busy writing it, and it is intimidating me because I'm trying to do something bigger, and I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to make it so that the next book is better than the last one. And
Yep.
unfortunately, my idea is so big, it's actually intimidating me. So I'm trying to write.
I understand that though. I feel you.
Hmm.
It's just like there's so much, but okay, I've got to say, guys, you really okay. I've loved the brand of Justice covers from the first one. I
Yeah.
just really love those, and I remember you telling the story about the model on the cover and stuff. That was fun,
Yeah.
but this one, I don't know. There is something about this one that has like, I mean, it just kind of screams. this is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so excited. So it looks like it's saying August and
Yes. Yep.
November. It's on our anniversary. It comes out, so that's really cool. And
Well,
then March 3rd.
yep. And then there'll be two more next year to make five.
So excited. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have to know, because we've talked about this before, and I'm sure people are curious, how are the Two Dogs anthologies going?
Oh, they're so fun. I love them. There's such a great lineup this year. We kind of went all out. So we had a double canine that are out, and then we had a romantic adventure, and then this summer we have coming Honor Bound Hearts, which is a 2-volume set of romantic suspense that are all military. Something in there is military or military connected. And then we also have couple of thriller ones coming in I think it's August, I think. And then also Christmas romantic suspense. So there's a lot happening this year over at Two Dogs. So definitely be following Two Dogs on Instagram and Facebook and sign up to their newsletter so that you get all the information.
Yeah, absolutely. I have had so much fun with those, and
Mm,
it's been it's kind of weird. It's been kind of a hard year because
mm,
I deliberately gave myself a year off of really doing anything with anything, and
mm.
I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done a year off of Two Dogs, because I like working with you guys,
Yeah.
authors.
Yes.
You want to work with Two Dogs. I'm just saying. I've done lots of collections, and there have been two sets that I've enjoyed the most. I've obviously enjoyed our, Christmas lights, which we had our 10th
Mm,
annual this year, and it's our final. We're not doing Christmas lights anymore. And, it's like, let's go out on a high, right? And then, Two Dogs. I mean, there have been others that I've really enjoyed, don't get me wrong, but my absolute favorites was ours, because obviously it was ours. But and because Christmas. But
mhm,
then Two Dogs, I mean, I don't know how many I did with you guys. It was 3 or 4, and I loved
mhm.
it. I had a blast. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to get a hold of JC and say, okay, well, when you guys have stuff coming up, let me know.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, yeah. It's been great. It's been really great. And it's really grown. And we're super excited for the lineup this year. The covers have been just like top tier.
Love it so much. I just anyway. Yeah, so much fun. Actually, I'm looking over on my shelf right now, and right next to each other I have my Stone Cold
Hmm.
from, it wasn't Come What May. That's the one before that. It was Cold Escape. And then,
Yep, the Christmas set. Yep.
yeah, and
Winter
then Love Blooms
Shivers.
on Valentine's is
Yeah.
over there. My Come What May's
Um,
in the house, but it's just like, oh no, I lied. It's right below it on a shelf. Anyway, so it's like I look at them and I'm like, because guys, for authors, and actually I think readers need to know this. When we get together and we do these collections, we form new connections with each other.
yeah.
Either we knew each other and now we know each other better, or we meet people we've never met before and we get to know them and we get to understand them, and we can send, because we now know their books, we can send readers who go, I'm looking forward, like, that person. So readers, if you want to know how to find out about new authors, these collections are good, not just for you to read to find new authors, but it's also good because authors find out about each other and send you to them. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to just be able to facilitate authors getting their books published and having that more like community marketing
Hmm.
mindset where it doesn't feel like you're quite so alone in what you're doing when you publish a book in a collection. It's, we get to share in it, and it's such a great thing to be able to facilitate.
I love it so much. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So, where should listeners go to find out more about you and your books and all the things, so that they don't miss out when this new series starts? Because if they're anything like me, they're going to forget. And actually, except I think this is going to come out like a month before the next book in the
Yeah.
series starts, but
Mhm. Awesome. Yes. By then, I will likely have a Division Zero page on my website. It's cooking right now. And so, authorlisaphillips.com will be the hub for you to find out everything about me and what's coming next.
Well, Lisa, this has been fun. It always is. I was
Mm.
just saw your name and went, yes, because Lisa.
Yes.
We
Yay.
need a hashtag because Lisa.
Because, yeah.
And Lisa Phillips, not Harris. That's another
Yes.
hashtag. But
Back in the day. Yes.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I still have people saying, okay, which one is that? And I'm like, okay, it's this one. If it, and basically it boils down to, and it's like, it's not that I haven't read Lisa Harris. I have, and I enjoy her, but I know yours. And so if they say who wrote, and it's, I will know if it's yours. And if it's not, then I'm like, oh, that's Harris. And I feel like I really know more than I know, because all I know is that it's not yours.
Awesome.
That's crazy. It's crazy. But this has been fun. Thank you so much for coming and chatting. I hope you will come and tell us more about Lazarus and all the things.
Yes,
I know
thank you.
it's not,
Yes.
it's something zero.
The
But my
Division Zero, yes.
division.
The
I kept
Lazarus
saying deception.
Fun stuff.
Deception Zero is what I want.
That could be a future series.
It's like, just don't give me any deception. That's great. But yeah, oh man, all the fun stuff. But I hope you will come back. We want to hear more
Yeah.
from you.
Thank you.
And yeah, anyway, I'm going to say, have a good day, read a good book. And this one is right here. It's waiting. You got 16 books if you haven't read any of them, unless you're like me and you're like on book 4 that gets to start tonight, because I just finished the one before it. Well, not the book before this. I finished that a couple years ago, but I've just finished my audiobook, so I can start a new one, and I'm really excited. So as soon as we get off here, I'm going to hit buy, because I don't have to worry about buying it twice. I don't know what was wrong with my brain. And I will chat with you guys next time.
Thanks for having me.